today we have Keke here on the pod from 20 somethings Austin. Welcome to the pod, Keke. How are you?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm well. Weather, it's been rainy in Texas lately, but besides that, I'm doing well.
Rainy and cold. It's actually freezing
Right?
today.
I was like sweating last week when I would walk, and then this week I'm like forgetting my jacket. I'm freezing at work.
And you're in Austin.
Yes, this month I think will make it a year since I've lived in Austin.
So did you, when the show ended, did you ever move out of Austin?
I did. I remember I get this question a lot because I don't live with Natalie, and so that throws people off. What happened was I remember we watched the episode and it shows like me and Natalie saying, "Yes, we'll take this place." And then it just like ends on that note. I called Natalie. I'm like, "Natalie, like it doesn't show what happened." But
Oh my God, what
we
happened?
we actually didn't get that place. We did live in Austin for a month, but we got a different place than the place the viewers watch. And then the show, we were Netflix fastest show they filmed and then put on air. So we finished filming. I think we started film things beginning of November, and then it released the first week of December. But the show for that month, we weren't filming, living in Austin. We didn't know what we were doing with our lives. So for the holidays in December, we went home, and then it felt like a breakup call. She called me and was like, I want to stay in Miami or LA. And she's like, but I know you belong in Austin. Like you go on without me. And I was really sad because we filmed during COVID, so we didn't have a lot of interaction with people. So like my roommates were like my only Austin friends. So I had like kind of moved here, like I guess alone, I felt like. But then I moved here. I wanted a job, got a job, and then moved here in April last year.
I was gonna say, being a gay myself, I would love to live in Miami or California. So why Austin?
I really would say the show, like, I don't even think the producers realized how much I wasn't out because I remember like day one, like filming everyone like I felt like the gay character, like, and I was like, y'all, like I barely used the word gay back home, or in Arkansas. And so it was like the first time I think I've just been like I would say 100% me. And I started here, and I think there's just still so much for me to do here. But I do say, like, I do vision, like maybe one day, LA or New York.
Nice. I
But
love
I was
your
like a
nails.
gay. I felt like thank you. I felt like a gay bee, so I felt like this was a good like learning ground before I go somewhere like huge.
That's totally fair. But how did you find out about the show initially? Because it's a brand new show. So did you look for this? Did they seek you out? Tell us about how 20 somethings really found you or how you applied.
Yes, I'm actually really different than most of my roommates. And I'm like, life really is like a full circle thing because I don't know if y'all know, but I work at TikTok. We have a headquarters in Austin.
No way. Wait, was this
I
before the show?
No, this is the job. I got this job. It was a year ago last month.
Okay. Awesome.
But I found out about the show on TikTok, the casting. I was in Arkansas just scrolling through TikTok and I saw an ad for casting. It was like, are you in your 20s? Do you want to change your life? Do you want to move to Austin, Texas?
Oh,
And I was like job applying at the time. And then I was also like, I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And then again, I really wanted to like come out. I was like kind of out, but not out. So I was like, I submitted an application for that and the circle the same day. And then I remember the next week, I got this strange voicemail and they didn't mention how they worded it. They didn't say show. They just mentioned like Austin, Texas. I was like, what job did I apply for in Austin? And I was like, wait, I was like, this was that show. And then I started the casting process and um, I got a call on a Tuesday that I needed to be in Austin on Thursday to start filming. So it was like really crazy.
wow, that came together really quickly. Can I ask you, I heard somewhere, tell me if this is true, were you trying to cancel your trip before going, because you were afraid of coming out on national TV?
Yes.
Can you tell,
I
like,
forgot
what did you do?
that.
Like,
I so it was I made that the audition process was really long actually. It was like the whole like summer, like 3 months of just once a week an interview. And so then they finally, called me on a Tuesday, said like, Netflix loves you. Can you be here Thursday? But so at that point, I remember like, I don't know, like my stomach, I just remember I felt sick. But so many, not so many people, because you got to keep it secret, but like my close friends knew. And I was like, what lie can I tell them that like I didn't get picked? And then what can I tell the producers? Like, I don't want to go. I just remember like I didn't know what to do. And I was like, how can I get out of this? But obviously it ended up good. But I just remember I was like, I don't want to go.
And you had mentioned that you actually had to resign for your job at the
Mhm.
time to go on the show. Is that right?
Yes. So I worked in housing. I did complete career shift. I worked in higher education. I worked at the University of Arkansas in housing. And at the time, again, my supervisors knew I was doing this audition process, but no one knew the extreme. Like, we didn't know it was Netflix. I didn't know like what it was gonna be. And so at the time, they're like, "Oh, you can do a leave of absence," but then I was gonna be gone for 3 months, and in my role, you couldn't do a leave of absence that long without it being medical. And
Oh.
so they're like, "You're gonna have to resign." And so I kind of pack everything. My apartment was tied to my job, so I literally had to like pack up everything and like say bye to Arkansas.
Yeah, I remember at the end of the show, you were saying you literally brought everything with you.
Yes, I like told
Everything.
I told the producers, I'm like, my truck's gonna be loaded. Like,
I'm assuming no regrets on that decision.
no, no regrets. Wild to think about, but I remember I was so scared. But my life is like so different now.
There were a lot of firsts on the show for you. First date, first kiss, first heartbreak. How did that even go for you? It's just a lot to handle, especially on TV. Like I don't know if I could ever do that.
Natalie the other day called me and she's like, "Were we exploited?" I'm like, "Stop," because she's like, we were rewatching it and she's like, "You went through so much." I was like, "I know." I'm like, "That's why I was like so emotional." Yeah, I laugh. People are always like, "How is it having your first kiss on TV?" And I was like, "Well, I've never been kissed, so to me, it was normal to have like four cameras, like a drone above you, like." That was just like the life we were living at the time.
It was
But it
hot.
definitely like it definitely like I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, Keanu, are you crazy? Like I can't believe I did all that and like and now it's recorded. I'm like, your kids are gonna watch that. But they're definitely very emotional. Definitely like obviously it's like edited too, so it's like people judge you like 10 minutes of like you filmed a whole week and only like 10 to 5 minutes makes the show. But it was a lot.
So what has the feedback been from your family? Because I get and your friends back home in Arkansas. Like I'm assuming did they watch the show? Did they know you were going on the show?
Yes, well, half and half. Like my closest friends knew, but you again, like you sign NDAs, like you're not supposed to tell people. So I remember like if like certain weddings I couldn't go to, and I had to be like, I can't go. And then once the show came out, I was like, this is the reason, like
Oh
why I've
shit.
been like MIA. Social media, like I didn't even post. You couldn't like reveal anything. So I was kind of like off the grid too. That was hard because I used to be on social media a lot. So people were like, "Where are you?" Yes. So that was hard. My family, I remember, so it dropped in like two bits. The first bit drops, and then I went home. And I remember we're at dinner and like it had not gotten brought up once. And I'm like, so are we gonna talk about like and I just came out to my family the Thanksgiving before. So I wasn't like we didn't talk about like I don't know, my lifestyle or being gay often. I just don't I think it was like hard to like, bring up and be comfortable. But then someone I remember broke the ice and my family like loved the show. And of course they're like, oh my gosh, I remember, sorry, we were at dinner and so once it got brought up, they're like, "Are you engaged to Oscar?" And I was like, "No, I would tell you." They're like, "No, you probably are under contract." I was like, "Mom, if I was engaged, like I would tell you." Like she did not believe me. I'm like, "Wait till the next episodes." Like I'm not engaged.
I love that your mom watched.
Oh, it's cringy though to think. I'm like,
It's
oh my
cringy.
God.
Did you
Yeah,
rewatch? Like, have you watched the entire show yourself?
they make us, we don't get to watch it early. So when it premieres, you have to watch it because you know, you're interviewed and you have to be accountable for like what made the show.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So did you get up at the
Uh,
crack of dawn and watch it? I heard some other people, well, some other people we were speaking to in an interview, they were just saying, you know, they got up before everybody else did, or like as soon as it was released, because they wanted to know what was happening and how they were being portrayed.
Natalie and Isha, I think they did that. I didn't because my friends had a watch party. And so I had to wait. I remember like that whole day for that night. And I was like, oh my, this is so much.
Ooh.
Because you see, like, you know, you're getting more followers, people DMing you, and you're like, what is going on? Like, what it made the, like, I don't even, you know, what do I even look like? Like, what is this going to be like?
I wanted to ask you, so you were so vulnerable about, you know, all these firsts, as Chris mentioned on the show, which just seems like a 360 from the life you were living before. I wanted to ask, what do you feel like was holding you back from living your authentic life or being your authentic self in Arkansas versus being able to come into your own in Austin?
Yeah, so like I moved to Arkansas. I was gonna say like I moved there straight, but obviously I wasn't straight. But you know, I was like closeted, and this sounds crazy or wild. I'm trying to use the word crazy anymore. Sorry. This sounds wild, but I like came out in Arkansas, and I'm like, Keanu, of all the places in the US, like you came out in Arkansas. So like I remember like my coworkers were like some of the first people I ever told. And I remember like, of course, like bawling. So I was like slowly coming out. But then again, I remember like I was over a dorm of like 800 freshmen. I was also like a conduct hearing officer. So if you got in trouble, he would come see me, which I think is like wild. That was my job. But uh, I remember just like caring too much what people thought, like of my students, of my family. But then I also remember what helped me come out at Arkansas was also the students. Because I remember when I was in college, I couldn't think of like a gay mentor or like gay men. And like, and even people were like, why did it take you so long to come out? And I was like, y'all, like, there are still places. Like, I grew up in a small town, went to like a small school. Like, I'm the gay friend. Like, they're like, surely your friends know gay people. And I'm like, no, like, I'm now, you know, when they meet someone, they'll be like, oh, I have a gay friend. It's going to be me. So the students, I remember like, oh my gosh, like I want to be like, I don't know, not someone they look up to. I feel like that sounds weird, but you know, just someone that's representing them. And also, I felt like it was like a blanket. I was playing hide and seek, but like I just had a blanket over me, like running around because some of my students would come to me for advice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't realize I'm closeted. And so I'm like, you know, they just like assumed I was gay, or I was gay, but you know, like I was out. And I was like, you know what, like. I do want to start coming out, and I went to talk therapy. That really helps. And I made a list of 10 people I wanted to come out to. It took me a year, came out to them. And then that's when I was like, um, I don't know. Sorry if I'm being rambling. I remember
No.
like 25 on my couch, like crying, because I was like, am I ever gonna be like have a boyfriend? Am I ever gonna like, you know, be married? Like, and I guess, and back then too, like this sounds I don't know, don't judge me, but you know, I'm like religious, and back then I also was praying, like, am I evil? Like, why did God make me evil? And I guess one day just clicked. I was like, He didn't make you evil, and I'm like, you're not evil being gay, and I guess I knew I needed to make a change, and I guess that drastic change was moving to Texas and being filmed, but um,
That's right.
sorry,
That's
that's like
one way to do it.
long-winded.
No, that's one way to do it. I wanted to ask you, the first thing you said when you walked in the house was parties here. Was that a coincidence or a tribute to Snooki? Are you a fan?
I am a huge Snooki fan, and
Okay.
I love saying parties here. Like I don't I asked him that she's like one of my role models, but I was like I don't know Snooki, a huge influence on me, and I love that that made the show. Like oh my gosh, like I like my Snooki montage.
Very cool.
So how was the day? I mean, obviously we saw you guys go out on the show in sorry, Austin to the gay clubs. How is the scene there? Is it crazy? Like I've never been.
Well, you're talking to someone who like never done any like my I remember we went to the gay club on the show at the
Yeah.
bar, and I remember I was so nervous, y'all. Like I didn't want to
Sorry,
go.
which club? Which club was it?
It's Rain. It was our first, like, where I first, like, yeah, my first gay bar in Austin, and kind of like
Ooh.
my in Arkansas, we had like a gay bar, but compares nothing to like what is here. And I remember like they were talking about like, are you gonna kiss someone tonight? And I was like, y'all, I'm scared to like walk in the building. Like, don't put that pressure on me. Like, I am so scared. That's so funny to think about. Like, I was so different back then. But yeah, the gay scene, like there's Fourth, and so it's like all these different gay bars. It's big to me and I love it. But then I have people from LA come visit and they're like, oh, you need to come to LA. Like this is small for us.
Yeah, and you need to come to Dallas because there's a whole gayborhood here. It's literally like a mini Las Vegas strip of gay
Wait,
clubs.
really? I
It's
didn't know that.
it's wild. So that's why I was always curious, like, how does Austin compare? I mean, I'll have to come down and test it out, but yeah, if you're ever in Dallas, I will show you around.
No, please. Yeah, come to Austin, see what we have.
Definitely, definitely. So are we still single? Are you on the apps or what's happening?
I'm sadly single. I'm just kidding. Don't say sadly, Keanu. I'm single. I'm on the apps. I've been through like ups and downs while living in Austin. I feel like I'm still learning, but lately I've been like, what is it? Don't chase, you attract. So I'm working on I'm like, you'll attract like the right guy.
I
I don't know why red flags turn me on. I'm like, Keanu, stop. I'm away from the red flags.
red flags are a big fucking problem.
How do
They're
you
a
get over
big problem. They're I cannot deal with that. I mean, I'm taken now, so I can't really do that shit, but like red flags, they were a big problem of mine. Gotta love some red flags. But yes, you're right. Fuck that. Get away from them. They're not good. Oh, that's too funny. So have you gone on many dates? Or like what are you like just
What's
chatting
the
over the
dating
apps?
scene looking like in Austin?
Yeah.
It's so sad for me. That's what people always ask. They're like, "How's your romantic life?" And I was like, "I don't know the last time I went on a date."
You need to go
But
back on that boat down the river. That's sick. I want to do that.
that's cute, and I see people do that now. I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I have friends say that like the gay boys here, like they're like, no one's trying to settle down here. I feel like maybe the show makes me come off intimidating. Not that I'm an intimidating person, but I think I just come with a lot of not baggage, but like obviously like I'm very public about things. So I think that kind of turns people off. But I feel like if I dated someone, I wouldn't post about like I would want them to like I want to make sure like they're into me because of me, not because of like what I have,
Would you be
if that makes
interested
sense.
in doing another dating show on Netflix or another network?
I would. I used to say no, but now I'm like I would do it. Because our show just finished. I remember I was talking to like Netflix marketing. They're some of like my favorite people. But our marketing team was like talking to us, and they're like, "Would you do a Love Is Blind, like a gay one?" I'm like, "Y'all, I just had my first kiss. I cannot go on TV and get married." But at this point now, I'm like, okay, like it's been a year. Like I've had my freedom. Like I would go and get married on TV.
Kiki, I've been preaching to everybody who comes on this show. Netflix needs to make a gay Love is Blind, a gay Love
Season.
Island, and a gay Too Hot to Handle. It needs to
Oh my
happen.
gosh. It also intimidates me though, because I'm like, we would definitely have stuff to put on TV. I was like, it will be a wild adventure.
Yeah, I don't know how PG that show would actually be. That's the problem.
I
Well, they could have
know.
that. They could have that OG like viewer discretion is advised right before it
Yeah.
airs.
That's true. That's true. And it is Netflix, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. It's not like it's actual TV. So that's true.
No, but yeah, I'm open to a dating show.
Was there anything that happened in the house that was not shown on TV that is worth noting? Was there anything crazy or cringy that happened in the house?
Oh, like so much.
Oh my God. I
I'm trying to think like what's the wildest.
live for this shit.
We definitely like butt heads more than the shown.
You guys did like everybody?
Because when you live with so many eight people for that long, like you do argue.
Who was the messiest?
Yeah.
Oh
Is it
gosh.
you?
What? You
No
think it's
way.
me?
I don't know
No.
because I saw your shit in the trailer that you brought.
Right. I plead the fifth, but I definitely like now I'm still the person I feel like I'm the only one that talks to everyone.
Ooh.
But I'm like I kind of wish we all would come back. I feel like there'd be a lot more drama, but Yeah, we definitely like butt heads. I'm trying to think what else, like anything funny.
Well, I was gonna ask, so you guys don't get together because a lot of the other shows, like all the cast get together like every year or whatever, right? Every half a year. Do you guys don't get together at all?
That's so sad. We got together, the show like aired in December, and then we all went back to Austin for New Year's.
Yeah.
But that was like our last group gathering. And then like people visit each other, like Isha, Natalie, Roxy. I think they've all seen each other. I would never have guessed this. I've seen Abby the most,
Really?
because she comes to Austin often. So if she's in town, she'll text me and I'll go hang out with her.
Damn.
Um,
I wanted
I
to
talk,
ask you what your first impression of everybody was.
Yeah.
uh, definitely intimidated. Like you walk in this house and like everyone's hot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I belong here, you know? And I'm
You're
like the
crazy.
awkward one. I remember right away, like Roxy was like so like I want to say like nurturing. Like I remember I was just drawn to her and I felt safe. Like I remember when we'd film group scenes, like I would right away go sit by Roxy because like she was gonna include me. This was also hard. Like I remember Abby and Isha, it was so hard to get like a word in, and I think we just all were so nervous. It was just like constant like talking, and I remember I was like, I think the producers had to tell me, they're like, y'all know, like say your opinion in there. I'm like, it's hard to get a word in with these people.
It
But
it
go ahead.
it looked like you guys were literally just living your lives. Like you're like Netflix took a bunch of people, put them in two houses, and you guys literally just went about living your lives. What I obviously cameras everywhere, kind of like Big Brother, but were the producers always there? When did they come? What did they ask you to do? Was it every day or what? Like what happened?
Because they received some criticism for not having more setup stuff for you guys in some of the reviews I've read.
Oh, really? Like what?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean?
Like they were just saying that they don't feel like they help to shape a storyline. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
forcing certain group things. Like you guys were just kind of,
Like
Oh,
living your
I
lives.
like
yeah.
Like
that. See, they even told, which I think Abby like um said this is true. I remember our producers were like, y'all are lucky y'all have us. Like other shows, producers are very much like trying to set up stuff or like push an agenda.
yeah,
We,
create the
it was
narrative.
wild though. Our show was different in that we had like the circle, those house cameras,
Yeah.
and those were on. And then in the day, they would bring these like big cameras that were, they didn't like follow you around like Jersey Shore Real Housewives. It was like set up because they wanted like a more like cinematic view. So
Oh.
you kind of just had to know your angles, you know.
So there was nobody there filming
But
your ass, like just walk following you guys around.
well, in the day, they would just be set up like in like corners, the big cameras, and then the house cameras would move.
Oh.
Um, And then yes, there's always like producers. Like it's crazy. Like there was like a huge, like set behind you, like lights and stuff, but it's not in the shot. But yeah, you like kind of it was during COVID or the end of COVID, I felt like. So you did have to say like what you were interested in doing because they had to like everyone had to be like we were tested every day. Anyone that came to interacted with you had to be tested and vaccinated. So they had to like set up, like, okay, they want to go to this bar. We need to like set that all up, obviously behind the scenes. But yeah, we kind of just told them what we were interested in doing.
It looked like you guys were literally in suburbia. Did the neighbors know what the fuck was going on around you guys?
I think they had to, because it was like, again, it felt like a huge set. I don't know if the fence was built because of us, but like we had a huge fence, we had security.
Oh,
Um,
security. Oh shit.
And so I think they had to tell them we were filming something. They just didn't know like what it was.
A lot of people have compared the show to the real world, and it's got a lot of mixed reviews. No announcement on a second season yet. I wanted to ask, watching it back, the final show, because obviously you never know how it's going to come together in the end. What did you think of the show?
Um, I don't. That's so funny. I've never been asked that. I liked it. I wish again. Okay, now I'm remembering. Like a lot got cut out. I felt like a storyline of like Natalie, and Roxy were like super close. I feel like that wasn't portrayed. So I wish there was more on like those storylines. But I feel like dating gets the views. Um, I I like the real world. So I remember at the first there was a lot of hate on like this is like revamped real world, but I was like I loved watching the real world growing up, but my castmates or my roommates, a lot of them are younger, so they didn't know and they were taking it as offensive. I was like, there's always haters, you know. And then I did not know it was gonna be like this signed up. Signed up, it made it sound like I don't know. It made it sound like you were. I feel like there's gonna be like one camera person and they were just like following you around. Like it made it sound more, and I thought it was gonna be on like Discovery TV or like something low key. Like it did not sound like this like wild adventure it turned out to be.
Hmm.
So that was a little bit of a dodge. What did you think of the season? Like watching it back though. I know you said you were a little disappointed that of some things they didn't portray, but just in general, did you like the concept of the show?
I
Or do you
did.
think
I
it could have
thought it
been
was
more?
like I thought it was like wholesome and that's what their goal was. They wanted like and I think that's what they casted around was people that can support each other. Like I don't think we were cast. I think other shows are like so and so's gonna butt heads with this person. Let's cast this. I think they try to cast like a group that would support. So I get a lot of things on like y'all needed more drama. But I was like, I think our purpose was to like support. You know, everyone was there for a reason. Like me coming out, Isha starting a clothing line. You know, Abby just got out of a divorce, and so I think you know they wanted us to like support each other on this adventure. I liked the show. Again, I again there was drama they cut out. I'm like that could have made it.
Oh
Right.
shit.
And I wish like what else do I wish was different? Confessional. I wish that we could change outfits. We weren't allowed to change outfits.
That's so
Um,
I
weird.
wish you guys were all in the same house, honestly.
Same, same.
Same. I told Natalie, I was like, if there was a second season, I was like, we should do like bunk beds and like live together. I don't
Well,
know if it'd be key on that.
but what is the verdict on that? Like, I can't find anything. Have you heard anything? Is there going to be a second season? If not in Austin, somewhere else?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything. I think because how long it's been. Well, I don't know. I would always pitch like, let's bring us back for like a summer and see where everyone's been. But my theory was it was going to be like the real world, you know, different cast, different city. But yeah, I haven't heard anything under, I think technically still under contract with Netflix. So you never know. But yeah, right now, haven't heard anything either.
Can I ask you why Bruce left early before the show ended? Because that was really sad.
Yeah, no, you know, he missed his family, and I think the experience was different than like what he thought. All of us thought, you know, like reality TV's hard. Um, and I think like career wise for his family and like mental health, you know, he would thought it was like best to leave. And I remember they didn't make it either. I thought I was gonna leave because I didn't know if I could do it without him. And I remember I think I sat down and told the roommates that I was like, if he leaves, I might leave. And I remember the girls, they were shocked. They were like, really? But I think that kind of stepped up and like us bonding more together because they were like, oh my gosh, like this is serious.
So, what have you been doing since the show ended? Have you been doing, I know you mentioned podcasts. Is there anything else? Have you been, touring around the country or like what has been Keke? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I so after the show, I got a job at TikTok and everyone's always like, "Oh, you create content." I'm like, "No, no, like the business side." I work our growth team has a headquarters here. So I do have like I tell everyone I'm like I'm a corporate boy, like I have a 9 to 5. That's what I do. And then Natalie and I, we had our own podcast for a little bit called Hopeful and Horny,
Yes, I remember. What
just because
happened?
we need to get it together. We keep saying we're bringing it back, but we're like the most unorganized people together.
Get your shit together and come on our show. Bring the whole squad.
It was fun though. She would love to. She's like a character, y'all. Like I know she's gonna be like big one day. I'm like Natalie, like you don't know it. But people were asking us for advice, and we're like, dude, we're the least qualified people to do this. But we thought it was funny, like people asking us for like love advice, sex advice, and it's the two most inexperienced people ever like trying to give advice. But it was really fun. And then yeah, and I kind of do the influencer thing in Austin. If there's like a new place opening up or something going on, usually I'm invited, and
Oh my
it's
God,
it's been
that's so
really
cool.
fun.
That is fun. Oh my God, we need to come visit you. And we
Please,
should do a pod down there so we get the whole crew on.
yes.
Um, what is next for Keke? Like what aside from your 9 to 5, like what is next? Have you been applying to additional shows? The Circle, Big Brother, like what other shows, like if anything?
Yeah, this has been my last month. I'm like, Keanu, you gotta like get your life together. My like dream, like my life, I don't want to say life goal, that sounds dramatic, but I want to be like a host of a television show. And so that's when lately I've been like, how do I get there? And I think everyone's journey is different in that way. But that's when I'm like, maybe, Austin another, maybe 2, 3 more years and then moving like to LA to like try to explore that. Just because, we don't film shows like that in Austin. Um, I want to start like my own. I haven't talked about this, but this is weird to
Tell
say.
us.
I'm still early steps, y'all. It's like so hard to start, but I want to start a nail polish line. Like I've always wanted my own
Ooh.
business, and I'm like, what can I do? I feel like what's something different? I feel like everyone does kind of skincare, and I was like, I've been after the show, I'd like started doing my nails. It's just like I feel like a new way exploring. Like I never thought I could get like my nails done. Um, and so I'm like a nail polish line I think would be fun. So
That's
I want to start
cool.
that. So I'm trying to do business. I'm trying to like
You're doing
advance my
everything.
career. Not applying for any shows. But again, I'm like open to it. I would love to be back with my roommates. Like I wish they would do something with us again.
That would be cool. I wanted to ask you, what is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself in the process of being on the show?
Um, wow, this is funny because I was just telling myself I need to work on my confidence. But I think definitely confidence, like growing in myself. I just was not like I feel like you even can see it on the show, like not sure of myself, what is it, deprecating humor, people say, and I'm like, that's just how I am. But just being comfortable, like who I am. I always think like the supporters. I was like, I'm living a life I didn't think I could live. Like I never knew I could be like gay, openly out. And so I'm like, every day is like a miracle. And the show really, it gave me that confidence that like these people met me day one, I came out to them and they like loved and accepted me. And that was like the first group of people, because all my friends I had to like, come out to and they knew me before. But this was like the first group of people who met me as like gay Keke and they loved me.
That's awesome. We love that for you. And you seem so happy living your authentic self, and it's a journey. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank
Well, thank you so much, Keke, for coming on the pod today. We are so happy to talk to you, and I'm so happy you're doing so well. Definitely can't wait to party and chill with you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I want to do Dallas. If I go to Dallas, I'll have to text y'all.
Oh my God,
I've
please.
never
Yeah,
done Dallas.
we'll do the gayborhood.
Oh fuck yeah. There are some wild clubs here.